Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Can you believe that ending? There's so many games of basketball that I have seen in my life. Is your blood pressure okay, everybody watching? Is your heart beating as fast as mine is right now? Because I cannot believe the game that we just saw. The back and forth affair. Yes, it was crazy. The first quarter, it belonged to New York. The third quarter, it belonged to Detroit. The fourth quarter, it was up for grabs. Jalen Brunson goes down. He hurts his ankle. He goes to the back. We all think he might be getting treatment. But what is he doing? Let's see. He's grabbing his cape. He's grabbing his cape. Captain Clutch, you would think when you hurt your ankle, you would play worse. Your game would get worse. No. Not Jalen. Not Jalen Brunson. Not Captain Clutch. Not when it's Captain Clutch time. Mind you, it was Captain Clutch time, not 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. As soon as he checks in, the first time he checks in back with that ankle, he starts to attack, continues to attack. Credit to Mikal Bridges. He was not hitting anything, especially from three, the entire game, but gave you great defense. And then when it matters the most, what does he do? Boom, hits the three. What does he do? Boom, hits the three. JB with the lay-in. Timeout. They make a three. What do? We respond. We hit a three. We tied the game. Our all-stars come to play to close out this game. Karl-Anthony Towns goes off. How did he make the three? How did he make that three? I still don't even know. But it doesn't matter, because you want to know why it doesn't matter? 3-1. That's why it doesn't matter. Yes, this game looked out of reach. Maybe if we analyze everything, the Knicks did not deserve to win this game, especially the way they played that third quarter. But you know what? The same thing could be said about the Detroit Pistons and how they played that first half. So as far as I can see it, it's about even. When it matters the most is that fourth quarter. When it matters the most is when the game is on the line. And when it matters the most, it's about closing out and winning the game. Game on the line. We needed to get stops. We needed to get buckets. We needed to make plays. Who did we look to? Captain Clutch and the best shooting big man in the game today. Together, they combine, go off, and the Knicks win this game. You want to talk about fouls? Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk about a late game situation where you were treated unfairly? I'm sorry. You must have missed last post game, because that was last time. You wanted to laugh before? Now it's our turn to laugh. I don't care. New York is here. We are up 3-1 in this series. And you know what the percentages are for a team that is up 3-1 to win the series? 95%. On your head, Detroit. You keep talking trash, and we'll keep bringing it to you each and every time, because now we own this series. We take a commanding lead, and now we go back home to MSG, to the arena that never abandons their fans, and we show out for our team as we look to close it out in 5 games, because we stole it. We stole this games thanks to our all-stars, but also thanks to Jalen Brunson, the captain. Captain Clutch. Not even an injury can keep him down. He'll grab his cape and he'll make sure Captain Clutch is here to get us the game and grab the victory. We are going to break down how the Knicks did it, where they went wrong in this game, where they still need to clean up. We're going to go through the roundup, which is my special list where I go through a number of lists of topics that I don't normally get to go through throughout the week. And we're going to break down some other things about today's game as well, too. You're definitely going to want to tune in and stick around. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to see reactions like this, lives like this, videos, we're dropping videos each and every day. I mean, daily content is almost a necessity on this channel. You're going to get that. You're getting shorts. We're all over the place right now. Now is the time to join in on the movement. If you want to be part of the recap, the Knicks recap, that is, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's get started because we're about to cover a post-game, we're about to do the post-game show over a game that nobody can believe the Knicks won, including myself. But we got the victory. Without further ado, let's get started. Unbelievable! The Knicks steal game 3. And when I mean steal game 3, I mean we're down 11. Knicks look like they don't have a shot of winning it. I'm not saying their body language is defeated, but when JB goes down, I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say this, my heart fell to my chest. I couldn't breathe for a second. And when I knew it was the same ankle that kept him out for what, a month? Talk about fear level. It was to the top. And the Knicks looked a little bit worried without him. And then, as captains do, right? Sucked it up, walked back to the locker room on his own volition. Even though initially he couldn't put weight on it, he still didn't want help. Walked back, clearly got treatment. He clearly got treatment on that ankle, but he also grabbed his cape in the back and then proceeded to go off in the fourth, just like Jalen Brunson can do. Clutch player of the year. If he's not made that clear during this postseason, I don't know what else can make you believe it. If what we just saw doesn't make you believe it, then nothing else will. Jalen Brunson in the postseason is operating on a different level. He's on a different planet, a different stratosphere, something that we haven't seen in years. You want to know what he's been doing? Before I go to the chat, and you know I will, let's talk about what Jalen Brunson has been doing during this postseason, because it's important to not only highlight the bad, which we're going to get to later on in the show. So don't worry for anybody who says I'm not going to criticize. I am. That's coming later on when we're going to break down the game. Right now, it's time to celebrate because we just stole one in Detroit. Large part because of this gentleman over here. New York leads this series 3-1. Final score 94-93. Another close game. But here's what I want to highlight, ladies and gentlemen. Playoff Brunson is a thing. And I don't care who you are or what fan of team you are to anything. Jalen Brunson is him. Playoff Brunson is a thing. Did we see these numbers? Today, mind you, he drops 32, 5, and 11. The other game, 37 and 9. The other game, 37, 3, and 7. The other game, 34, 2, and 8. What is that? What is that? That is inhuman play from your point guard who is 6'2", putting the team on his back and leading this team to victory. Not clutch, not the best player in this series. Cade Cunningham is? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not going to talk trash to Brunson like that. I said it before. If you're going to take shots at the king, you better not miss. Asor missed. Malik missed. Tobias. Fake tough guy, you missed too. Every single one of you guys missed. And it has inspired Brunson to drop all of these points on your head. You respond by talking trash. We respond by that. That's how you respond if you are looking to be a championship level team in the NBA. And JB, class act. That is Captain Clutch. That is your captain. And that is the player that is leading this Knicks team to greatness. Put some respect on the captain's name. One time for everybody who's watching. Salute to the captain. Captain Clutch. Let's go to the chat, gang. See what you guys have to say. See if you guys are just as hype as I am about today's Game 4 victory. Man, what a game was it. Chat gang. Let's see here. Nice. Brunson makes Cat better and Cat makes Brunson better. Just need to learn to make it happen. That's from Nice. I appreciate that comment. You're not wrong, by the way. Our all-stars, so many times people thought they couldn't play together. They couldn't do things together. What a way to show out and close out with the all-stars. Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember at one point, it was Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, 25 points. The Detroit Pistons as a team, 22 points. That's what we were seeing. The defense in this game was crazy. Reminded me of a 90s game with all the lack of officiating, all the fouls they were allowing to happen. I mean, we're going to have to talk about that a little bit because I think that kind of led to Brunson being injured in the first place. Because when you're calling a game very loosely, a lot of things are going to slide, including things like that. So I understand wanting to be physical, but physical should not mean going against bounds. And I felt at times it was like that for the Pistons. Corey says, Troy, I'm pumped. 3-1. I love you, bro, always. Hey, my guy, shout out to you. Much love. I love everything right now. 3-1, baby. 3-1. We steal it. Robbery. Robbery committed in Detroit. Oh, my goodness. What a feeling. It's always us. We are always the ones that get robbed. So it feels so good to rob somebody else, man. Oh, amazing feeling. Yuri, my guy, shout out to the moderators in the house. Yo, Troy, I thought Cat was soft. This New York Knicks Cat, this Bodega Cat, Chopped Cheese Cat, Cat is the villain. Yes, sir. Bodega Cat. Bodega Cat. We saw him in front center, live, living color. We saw him available. He didn't fold, did he? Tobias was talking all of that trash. But see, that's all Tobias can do. Tobias will talk trash. He might show up for a game. He might show up for a quarter. But then eventually, what happens? Tobias will show his true colors, and then it'll be Tobias! Tobias! Can't find him. Trying to call for him. Can't find. Gone. Not here. Let's see what we got. Harold says, you want physical? You got physical. Hey, no complaint. If this is not the most physical series right now, and I've watched all of them, there have been some great series right now, besides this Knicks series, Clippers and Nuggets, my goodness, that is a fire series right now. One of my favorites, but most physical, that goes to Detroit and New York by a mile. And also the level of physicality that they just allow. That third quarter, oh my goodness. The amount of physicality that they allowed during that third, it was ridiculous at times. Let's see. Carl Knight says, even if Tim Hardaway got fouled, the refs were on the Pistons' side at the end of the second quarter and the whole third quarter. Not wrong. Not wrong with the amount of officiating, lack of calls. I mean, Jalen Brunson was shoved on the back by Tobias Harris, makes a play anyways, no call. I mean, come on. That's blatant. You got to call blatant stuff. I understand if you don't want to call things that are maybes, but a blatant foul? Come on, you got to call something. Get some water before I lose my voice here. My guy Oron, who's a member, shout out to the members in the house. He says, Cat is unbelievable. Jalen is clutch, so is Cat. Cade, not so much. Listen, man. Listen, I don't like Cade Cunningham, but I'll say one thing about Cade. And actually, we'll use that to pivot. We'll go back to the chat a little bit later, I promise. I know we will, but I really want to break down some parts of the show and then go back to the chat a little bit later. But I want to talk about Cade Cunningham for a second. Cade Cunningham got a lot of my respect today. And it wasn't really anything to do with the way he played, even though the way he played was phenomenal, by the way. Nobody could stop him in the second half. Give credit where credit is due. The Knicks, we won this game. We stole this game. But the reason we had to steal it is because Cade Cunningham almost put it out of reach with the way he was playing. We couldn't stop him. Nobody could stop him. Nobody could stop him inside. However, Cade Cunningham, in that fourth quarter, we saw Cade and we saw clutch. And in that situation, clutch is always going to win. So I'm very happy that we saw that. But there was one situation where Karl-Anthony Towns, he trips over a rookie, Ron Holland. And then Holland didn't like it, so he stands in front of Cat or over Cat like he's going to do something. And before anybody else even reacts, Cade Cunningham comes in and shoves him about as hard as I've ever seen a teammate shove another teammate. And for me, that was probably the most respect I've instantly gained in a player in my entire life. Cade's a real one. He's absolutely a real one. Because you understand, this is basketball. This is playoff intensity. There's levels to it, but we're not going to get to that level. And as a leader, you need a leader like that. We see the leadership in our locker room thanks to Brunson. He brings that type of leadership. It's nice to see that the Pistons have that with Cade. I'm not going to give them a lot of props during this game. They don't really deserve a lot, but I will give them the right amount. And Cade Cunningham is really where it all starts for them. Respect because of what he did to handle his teammates, and also respect for Cade Cunningham because we really couldn't stop him. And when we look at the quarter-to-quarter breakdown, you are going to see that it was very difficult for the Knicks to do anything against Cade in that third. But before we get there, let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and first break down the quarter-to-quarter breakdown. We're going to get to the individual stats very, very, very soon. I thought we were going to get to it first, but since we're talking about the quarter-to-quarter breakdown, it makes the most sense to go here first and then go back into the individual team stats. So as you can see here, Fred Katz from The Athletic, final 94-93, Knicks win. Knicks take a series lead of 3-1. Brunson again, 32, 5, and 11. He had 15 in the fourth. Captain clutch, always there. Towns, 28 and 9. Monster game for him as well, too. Came up big in the fourth. Hart, 14, 10, and 5 with 4 steals. I mean, it's an understatement as well, too, to not see any defensive numbers for Hart over there. Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson will never get enough credit during this game, especially not Mikal Bridges. Neither of them will get enough credit during this game, just because we're going to look at the stats, we're going to look at the box score, and we're going to look at what they did in terms of points. The defense, you're never going to be able to see on the box score. Mikal Bridges' defense from start to finish was just amazing during this game. He had some slips, but for the most part, amazing. Josh Hart, same exact thing. Mitchell Robinson, same exact thing. They were playing great defense and help defense as well, too. There were times there were slips and overhelping as well, too, but they're not going to get enough credit for the defensive effort that they put out. A lot of people were killing Bridges. Oh, he can't shoot. He can't make a shot. Knicks would be up so much more if he can make a shot. Yeah, I get that. But also, some of the shots he's open for, you're not going to not take those shots. You're going to take them because those same shots he took those same shots in the fourth, didn't he? And hit 2 threes. So you're going to have to take the good with the bad. As long as the defense is there, that's what we need. And that defensive energy was there from Bridges the entire game. So you got to give him credit for that. Somebody else with Cade Cunningham, 25, 10, and 10. He had a triple-double. I believe this is his first postseason triple-double. We can say what we want to say about Cade Cunningham, but that man in the third quarter, really, let's talk about it then, right? So we're going to talk about Cade anyways, right? First quarter, Knicks dominate. When I talk about dominate, there are few times in my life I ever say the Knicks dominate on every quarter from start to finish on every level. They did that in the first quarter. On every level. Defensively, rebounding, passing the ball, finding the cutters, moving without the ball, finding the open man, penetration and creation. Jalen Brunson wasn't forcing anything, trying to find other players. Karl-Anthony Towns the same exact way. It was easy because they were making the game easy. One of the best first quarters I have seen the Knicks do in this entire postseason run. That should say something because they were strong for a couple of first quarters. But this one, primarily so good. I don't know if you guys saw the score there, but in that first quarter, it was 29-19. 29-19. The Knicks were up big. But then the second quarter. And the funny part is the second quarter is going fine. We're actually doing fine for most of that quarter. And then we're still doing fine. And you think it's 3 minutes left. The Knicks are definitely going to do fine here. Maybe we're going to have a 10-point lead going into half, but we're going to be okay. Maybe it could be more. 1 minute and 49 seconds. That's how much time was left in the second quarter. Within that time frame, the Pistons managed to drop 11 points to the Knicks 2 points, closing that half down by 7. 7-point game when we had a 16-point lead in that game. And the way it happened is the craziest way ever because it's a momentum shift. Tobias Harris and 1. Tobias Harris and 1. Cade Cunningham, well, that happened last. Tim Hardaway Jr., 3. And then Cade Cunningham, lob. That's your points. Those are your points of what we saw. They closed the half extremely strong. And then that same intensity that they had to close out the second, they bring it into the second half. And the Knicks were not prepared for it. And the defense that we saw the Knicks bring in that first quarter, it started to slip little by little. And in the third quarter, it slipped completely. Not entirely their fault because the refereeing, the officiating, the lack of calls, it all plays to that. But their defense, it took a hit. And if you don't believe me, look at the score here. 14-28. The Knicks scored 14 points in the third quarter, and the Pistons scored 28 points. They led going into the fourth quarter. They had an 11-point lead, their highest lead, and they were destroying the Knicks inside. They were destroying the Knicks inside. They were destroying the Knicks inside, and a large part due to that was because of Cade Cunningham. Like I said before, there's a reason he's highlighted as the player of the game and the game leader for Detroit. It's really because Detroit would not have been able to get there without Cade Cunningham and his abilities at the rim. Nobody could stop Cade in the third. Nobody could stop Cade in the fourth, really. And it was a collective effort to try to get him off the ball and make things difficult for him. And really, the Knicks defense was not there in that third quarter. We got taken advantage of. And if I'm being honest, and anybody who's watching, you know I'm always honest when it comes to this team, we didn't deserve to win this game after that third quarter. We didn't. That third quarter was an embarrassment to this Knicks team, an embarrassment to this franchise. We don't play like that. We should have. It's a postseason game. We should understand what it means to come out of the half, lock in, focus, and build on your lead. We not only did not build on the lead, we squandered it. We let it get out of reach nearly. And if it was not for the heroics of Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, maybe we don't win this game because we didn't put ourselves in a position to win this game. We allowed the Pistons to gain confidence and come back into this game because we were less physical on defense. We didn't keep it the same exact way in the first half, the way we should have had, the way we had in the first half. We didn't keep it the same way in the second half like we should have. And that really was the detriment. Once Cade started going, everything started falling apart for New York. And we really couldn't get a reach into the game until the fourth quarter, until Captain Clutch came in and he made his presence known. And then New York proceeded to go back and forth with the Pistons. We made it close. We cut their lead in half. We continued to cut their lead. Captain Clutch could not be stopped. Karl-Anthony Towns makes a fadeaway shot, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't even know how he even sees it. He's like this. He's like that when he's shooting the ball. How does he make it in? No idea. Makes the shot. Even though they call the timeout, they make another shot. They hit a big shot. Jalen Brunson cannot be stopped. This is his time. Hits the big shot, is able to make sure the Knicks get the tie, and then we continue to go back and forth. Karl-Anthony Towns hits the three, makes the Knicks go up by 1 point, and at that point, it's anybody's game, but you know what happens? The Knicks are able to get stops, close out this game, make sure we steal this game, go up 3-1, and have the Pistons, their fans, who surprisingly stayed, by the way, and their players all stay on the court, cry a little bit after the game, and boo, as if that was going to do anything. We booed too. We booed all the refs in game 3. Did that make Jalen Brunson reshoot the free throw? Or did the Pistons get a free possession? Oh, I'm sorry. If my memory corrects me, the Pistons got a free possession. So I'm not crying for anybody. I'm not crying for no one. It's New York or nowhere. We showed you why the Knicks are a postseason team, because in this situation, it takes a battle-tested postseason team to understand what to do, how to close out the game and get to the next level. New York did that. We executed. We stole this game. And now we are up 3-1 with a chance to close out in game 5. And I can't wait to see it. And like I said before, we have to give credit where credit is due to our all-stars, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, as New York takes a dominant 3-1 series lead against the Pistons. Jalen Brunson, 32 points, 15 points in the fourth quarter. Captain Clutch grabbed his cape. 13-26 from the field. Efficient. 4 of 7 from 3. Efficient. 11 assists. Pass the ball. Huh? Is anybody saying that now? He had 7 the other game when we lost, 9 when we won, and 11 when we're dominating in the fourth and trying to use him to help us go off. What else do you need a captain to do? I know a lot of you don't want to admit it. A lot of you gave up. You thought going into the fourth we lost this game, especially with Brunson going out, going down. We don't know what happens. I had to believe that this team was going to figure it out with or without Brunson. I'm happy we were able to do it with Brunson, but even with that, there are some issues, and we're going to have to tackle them one by one. But before we do that, we're going to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns and what he did, because he needs a lot of praise. Towns, 27 points, 8 in the fourth quarter. We don't win without those 8 in the fourth quarter. 5 of 6 from 3. Let me say that again. 5 of 6 from 3. Let me say that again. 5 of 6 from 3. Big man let it fly. Big man hit a lot of threes. 9 rebounds. Clutch rebounds as well, too. Playing pretty good defense as well. But Karl-Anthony Towns did exactly what we needed him to do. When Jalen Brunson needs somebody else to help him, when we need somebody to assist the closer, somebody has to step up. Karl-Anthony Towns, that fadeaway shot, that's how you step up. That 3 from I don't even know how far away, how many people were near him, around him, next to him, hands around his eyes, and still makes the bucket. Yeah. That's the Towns that we needed. That's the Towns that we got. And he's one of the main reasons we win this game. We're up 3-1, and everybody needs to start putting some respect on the Knicks and our all-stars. They keep on doubting us. They keep on talking trash. And I guarantee they are going to continue to talk trash because of the Josh Hart foul, or lack thereof a foul, whatever you want to call it. We all saw it. And you know what? I will be the first to admit it. That, in maybe a regular season game, that's a foul. Absolutely, that is a foul. Because we've seen it called before. The way this game was officiated, you really want to tell me that was a foul? Isn't the way the game officiated what you deem a foul is or isn't when it comes down to that game? Because if you're allowing physicality to this level, you're allowing players to hip check other players, hand check other players, bump them to the floor, slightly shove them. A play like that, a move like that, doesn't really seem that big in the grand scheme of things. It is big, though, if you're the Pistons and you're salty because you know what you did. You let this game go. Yeah, Jalen Brunson did his thing. Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns did his thing. And a credit to the Knicks, their team, their defense, all of that great stuff. But it's also credit to Detroit and their sloppy play. Turnovers in the first half, terrible. You might have cleaned it up in the second half, but when it mattered the most, you couldn't get it done. When it mattered the most, we had Clutch and you had Cade. And no knock to Cade, but in that situation, I would much rather have Clutch always over Cade because Clutch gives you that. And Cade, at least right now, gives you what you saw. Not enough. He's not been here enough yet. Let him get some more experience. Maybe he'll be able to do something else in that moment. But Brunson has been here before, has been through heartbreaking moments before in multiple different series. He knows what it takes in that moment to get the job done. And he proved it to everybody. Karl-Anthony Towns proved the exact same thing. And the Knicks recognizing that these two had it going shows you there's no egos on this team. Whoever has it, has it. And that's the player that's going to get the ball 9 times out of 10 and going to be the one that we lean on. And the Knicks leaned on their all-stars, and they absolutely delivered, including Karl-Anthony Towns, who they didn't have an answer for some parts of those games, even though Tobias Harris likes to think he's the answer to Karl-Anthony Towns. No, my guy, you're the answer to why the Pistons lost that game. You talk trash, you can never back it up, and in the biggest moments, you're a ghost, and you disappear. They should call you Casper from now on, because I can't see you, John Cena. Before we break down the team stats, we break down all of the game stats, break down exactly what Detroit got from their bench, what the Knicks got from our bench, and that's one of my main issues that we're going to break down. And also the rundown, where I break down a number of issues, a number of topics that I want to talk about. I'm also going to get some topics from you guys when we go to the live chat about some things you want me to talk about for the rundown, so we can get those topics part of that as well too. So hopefully you guys like that part. Without further ado, let's jump right into the chat, gang. See the comments you have thus far about the post game, this show, the game that we just saw, and everything that we've been seeing thus far in this series. Chat gang, keep it going, man. Lionel will likely face the Celtics if we don't get Bridges and OG to play well. It could be a sweep. Listen, I don't want to think about the Celtics right now, even though we're likely going to play them. But listen, what I do want to think about, what is the score, by the way? The Celtics are playing Orlando right now? I'm missing that game right now, so I can't see it. I'm looking at Bleacher right now as we speak. Anybody have the game score? Is Orlando up or not playing right now? Oh, that's 7. Never mind. They're at 7. Never mind. All right, good. I can watch that game. I didn't know who was playing right now. Forgot it was the Lakers at this point. Okay, good. I want to watch that game. I hope they lose. I hope Orlando ties it up, because the longer that series go, it favors the Knicks, whoever wins. So I want that series to go 7 now. I don't care anymore. I want that series to go as long as possible. Tire them all out. Tire each and every single one of them out. Let's see here. Diabolical Max says, don't poke the bear, Detroit. They keep poking the bear. That's all they do. Max, that's all they've been doing. They keep poking everybody. Mellow Mike says, the refs were horrible in this game. They ref this game like they were calling it a jail game. And then they wonder why fights get taken place. Listen, the one thing I'll say about the referees, maybe you guys will agree with this. Do you guys blame the officiating tonight on Jalen Brunson's, we don't know how bad the injury is yet, but his minor, maybe severe ankle injury? Do you guys blame the officiating? Because what I was hearing, and I thought it was a good point actually, is if you officiate a game and you make it known that certain physicality is okay, but certain physicality isn't, then you've drawn a line. And effectively, it stops a player from going too far. If you really haven't done that all game, especially that third quarter. Third quarter was the worst officiated quarter I've ever seen. Very, very bad. They let a lot of things go. Do you blame the officiating for that? Do you blame the refs for that? Do you blame the refs for not calling it better so that way Schroeder doesn't land on Brunson's leg and he doesn't go down in that pain? I mean, that's something that we might have to talk about, because again, physicality, that's okay. Blatant aggressive fouls, that's not okay. I mean, there was one foul, Cade Cunningham, and I'm sure he didn't mean it that way, but Hart's driving to the rim. Cade grabs him and brings him down by his face very hard to the ground. You could hear Hart hit the floor. That doesn't even get reviewed. Come on. It doesn't even get a review. If I can hear it on my TV, it probably should get a review. I'm just saying. Rob says, anybody see how much Detroit garbage ball fans are whining all over the internet right now? They're whining a lot right now. They've replayed that Hart foul. I don't even know how many times. They must have replayed that Hart a bunch of times already. It was a foul. Does anybody think it wasn't? It was. But the way that game was being officiated, why would you call that if you didn't call anything else? Go look at the third quarter. Go watch the third quarter and then tell me that's a foul. That's all you have to do. Stop whining and complaining. That's all we're going to see right now. I can't wait. That means I'm going to drop another video probably about the Pistons and their players whining again. Probably at some point. Random says, Pistons are playing dirty, not clean defense. They don't know how to play clean defense. They're always hacking. They always hit. Anybody notice that? Even the balls that they have blocks. Look where the ball blocks at. It's not here, right? Where the ball should be. It's not here. They're not blocking here. They're hitting here. It's a swipe. It's a swipe. That's not a block. You're hitting, the ball's in his hand. You need to let go of it. Some of those are not clean. We all see what we see, but I understand. It's the postseason. If you're going to call it consistently, then I don't mind. If you're going to let it go on that end and on that end, then fine. You don't want to call that? That's not a foul this game? Cool. I'm okay with it. Pokemon Center says, it was just enough pressure. It wasn't. Listen, whether you guys think it was a foul or not, it's irrelevant because, number one, they didn't call it. Doesn't change the fact that we won. And the thing I'm saying here is, this is what I'm saying. It's the postseason. That was a foul. I saw it as a foul when they showed the replay. He bumped him as he got the shot up. However, the way this game was being officiated, that is not a foul. And you have to call the game consistently. So, with them calling the game consistently, that was not a foul because they were calling the game consistent with the physicality that they allowed the entire game. You can't magically say that's a foul when you've allowed that the entire game. It wouldn't make sense. That's why it's not a foul. That's it. Plain and simple. You want to go back to the regular season? Let's eliminate you. You can wait, and then you can play regular season basketball. If you want to play postseason basketball, then you're going to have to understand, sometimes this is going to happen. You saw the Wild finish the other game with the Nuggets. It's happening all over. Postseason basketball is physical. It's competitive. The game is often on the line. I understand the Pistons don't get this because they've not been here before, but let's try to toughen up here and understand. This is what it is. You have to understand it. Watch. Sharon says, thank the Lord we won. Hallelujah. Amen. I believe that. Carl Knight says, Pistons let only 3 Knicks players beat them in Hart, Cat, and Brunson. You're not wrong about that, man. You're definitely not wrong. I would also say Mikal Bridges. They let Mikal beat him as well, too, because defensively, he was smothering, but allowing him to get those open curl shots at the corner. You can't do that with Mikal. I understand he wasn't hot all game, but we're having a momentum comeback right now. You got to stop it at all points in time. You can't allow any type of open shot. It makes sense to me. Ja said, bad boy who? They're not bad boys. They never been bad boys. Bad boys never talked. Last I checked, the bad boys didn't really do this a lot. Maybe on the court, but they were physical to another level. This Detroit team has it backwards. They think hitting and attacking are being physical. It's not. Physicality is the mindset you bring into that team and how well you're able to lock down a team within the confines of the rules. And also, when it counts, being a little bit aggressive and not taking any you-know-what. That's part of the game. The Pistons, all they want to do is talk. But when they push their chest out, Jalen Brunson pushes into it and gets an and one. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? Sean's animation says, in games that close, sometimes refs aren't going to decide the game on a foul call. But also, it evens out because we got no calls in the third quarter when they were getting all the calls. So it evens out. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly the point I'm saying, Sean. It evens out. They were not calling any of that in the third. So they're going to call it in the fourth? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You have to call it the same way. Carl Knight says, this is going to be my last comment, and then we're going to go to the team stats because we're going to have to talk about some things. We won, but there's some problems, guys. There are some problems. Carl Knight says, Beasley hit the too small gesture on us, and look where him and his team is. You know, every time Malik does anything, anytime Malik Beasley does anything, it hurts his team. He was so terrible throughout this series, besides one game. You should never put the too small. And then you do it and you lose. How does it feel when you do that during a game and you lose? Does anybody ask him that question? Can somebody who's in the media room with him ask him, hey, you know, I saw you put the too small and you guys still lost. How does it feel that you put the too small and you lost? Can you tell me? I would love to hear that answer because they seem to react and celebrate way too early. And every time they do that, they get hit for it. And look what happened now. They not only got hit, they got robbed. The Knicks robbed them, stole this game from them. Not even a competition. We robbed them of this game that they had, that was theirs to win. Stole it back. I've not seen that in a long time, especially a postseason game. Knicks control the first, get demolished in the third, in large part because no calls, but still demolished in the third. And then the fourth quarter, back and forth affair, game is on the line. I mean, you can't script games like that. It was insane. Last one let's give it to Sharon. Member Sharon. When Cat plays a little defense along with his offense, we are tough. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns' help defense today was a lot better, but you're not wrong with that statement. When you get even this much effort on defense from Towns, and he's playing the same level of offense that he's always doing, you're going to get great production. You're going to get great production and great impact. I thought the way when they were switching on Cade, because sometimes it would go to Cade, they would switch off of Cade to Cat, and then switch back to Mikal. During those brief moments when Cade was seeing Cat, he could have attacked, but Cat did a very good job of closing the distance and not giving him any space to run in and attack. Very, very smart play, and it made Cade get forced to the corner, and as he was running to the corner, Mikal Bridges was there to meet him, switch on him, and it was a way better defensive effort from everybody involved. So you love to see that from this Knicks team. But let's go ahead and break down some things that we saw from the team, because when you look at certain things during this game and you look at what happened during certain plays, it makes you wonder certain things about this game, and if things went the other way, what would have happened? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. First thing I want to do here, though, is talk about Ian Bagley's comment here. He says the Knicks had a wild celebration on the floor while the Pistons were basically lethargic on the floor, not understanding what happened after the no-call foul on the possession of Game 4. New York's rebounds from a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter behind strong defense and great shot making from Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Bridges, and again, the Knicks take a 3-1 series lead with 2 tough road victories. Shout out to my guy, Ian Bagley, for giving us that update and that information. Now, guys, you might notice today, you're not going to see the shot chart. You're going to see stats, and you're also going to see some team play as well. Now, normally, what you guys normally see is, where's that? You normally see this. You guys normally see me break down the players, what they did and whatnot. But because I believe that is a very, very big topic, a very extremely sensitive topic for me, because it's one of my biggest issues for this team right now, I'm saving that for last. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the team stats and some of the things I want to take away from today's game that we have to look at. Because when you look at the stats, it might shock you that the Knicks were able to pull out the victory here. Let's take a look at that really quickly. Shout out to ESPN for breaking this down and giving us all this information here. So as you can see, we're going to break down some of the key stats first, and then we're going to break down some of the other ones that jump off the page here. So number one, the one thing we have to look at, if you're not looking at this right now, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's up with you. 54 rebounds to 38. Demolished. Demolished on the boards. When you shoot 37.4% from the field and you get dominated by near 20 boards, you're likely going to lose the game. And the Knicks had every right to lose this game, given the fact the way they were shooting, the way they were not passing that ball in the third quarter. Even though the officiating was bad in the third, I'll give you that. The Knicks didn't do themselves any favors. They were playing a lot of isolation ball. They were not moving the ball the exact same way. They were trying to attack and penetrate and then find somebody open, but that wasn't working because their passes, was being picked off. So we saw a lot of that in the third. The Knicks did not do themselves any favors, and clearly, looking at the stats here, the way they shot the ball, the way they rebounded the ball, honestly, they did not do themselves any favors to win this game. And with these stats, if I told you the Knicks had these stats, you would have thought the Knicks lost this game. But we won this game because of a couple of different areas. And that's where we need to look at. 19 turnovers to 10. That's one area where the Knicks excelled. 10 turnovers, extremely low, and one of the main reasons we won. But 3-point percentage. I almost never, ever can say this about the Knicks. New York shot 45.5% from three. Detroit shot 24.1% from three. 7 of 29 from three, and at one point, they gave up. The Knicks, conversely, generate more threes than their opposing team. That doesn't happen often. They took 33 threes. They made 15 threes. There's your difference. You want to know why the Knicks won? How they got back into this game? It was because of their defense, because of their aggression, because of our all-stars, but also we forced turnovers. Detroit, they made bad plays, bad passes. They turned the ball over. But we also were able to hit our threes and generate more threes. And when it comes down to it, it's a little bit of math. You take more threes, you make more threes, you're likely going to win the game, or if you were down, you're going to get back into the game. Those stats are the main reasons why the Knicks were able to win. But the rebounding is a problem. And that is my first problem with this team that we have to acknowledge. We got demolished on the boards. We played the double big lineup a little bit, not a lot. We'll break down the minutes a little bit later. But rebounding-wise, you can't rebound that way and expect to win games. We were very fortunate to win that game. We didn't deserve to win that game with those rebounding numbers. We got out-rebounded, out-muscled. Look at the numbers in terms of defensive rebounds. It's 40-26. It's 40-26. Maybe offensive rebound-wise, we were close, 12-14. But 26-40? It's almost like we allowed Jalen Brunson to walk inside and grab every single rebound that he wanted. We allowed them to get every single long rebound, and that can't happen. And another reason it can't happen is because a lot of people are now fast-forwarding to the second round. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to move to the second round. I understand where we are right now, and I'm not going to rush to get there. But I know once we get there, if our rebounding numbers aren't better, we are going to get taken advantage of, because the teams that we're going to face next round, they can rebound very well. They can bang inside, and we're going to need to have a better paint presence than the one we have right now, because it's not going to get it done. Those rebounds are because either we're not communicating, poor spacing, not boxing out, probably a combination of all of those things. And it's the lineups that we have out there to match whoever they have out there. If Duren is out there, I might want to play Mitchell Robinson all game long if I can, if he can just even a little bit cause a problem on Duren. Because when he gets going, he's a monster on both ends, offensively and defensively. And he can pass the ball a little bit as well, too. So if they get him going, he can become a problem. Thankfully, the Knicks have been able to stifle him some plays here or there. He's been also able to get himself into foul trouble. So he's taken himself out of the game a couple of times. These things have both helped the Knicks, but the rebounding numbers need to improve. That was tragic. Those numbers are terrible. They're pretty bad. Another thing we have to look at here is points in the paint. The Knicks were really dominated there, 48-32. Not saying the Knicks can't win like that. It's not like if we're shooting the three at 45.5%, it may not matter how many paint points we have, because clearly we're shooting the outside shot very well. However, you want to make sure you're making the opponent guess. So if you can, take more shots inside the paint, take more shots outside. Switch it up a little bit, but make sure you're attacking as well, too, because attacking will get them into foul trouble and allow you to get to the line, which we need to do a little bit more. Tonight, it was pretty much even, 18 free throws to 17 free throws. The Knicks leading that area, but still, you want to make sure you get to the line more, especially against a Pistons team that loves to run and gun. And clearly, if they get into foul trouble, they don't have anybody else. So that's something they definitely want to do and something to incorporate. Last thing here, before we jump into the players breaking down their minutes and exactly the issue I have with that side of things, it's the assist numbers. Now, New York did a good job, 19-18, right? We did better than the Pistons did, so I'm not going to criticize them for that, but I will continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. 19 assists are not enough. That's team assist. And if we're breaking things down here, right? If we're looking at the numbers, Brunson had 11 assists. Josh Hart had five of those assists. So if we're talking about numbers here, about your two players had 15 of the 19 assists that you had. 16 assists from the 19 assists you had as a team. That's not going to do it. You need to move the ball better as a team. Our assist numbers should easily be hitting 25 assists. That's the sweet spot. You get 30 assists, you're a way better team. They're not going to be able to stop you. The third quarter, even though it was officiating in the third, it was also the Pistons outplaying the Knicks. The Knicks got outplayed in that third quarter. We can blame it on the officiating all we want to, but that was not the only reason we lost that quarter. We did not come to play. Too much isolation play, too much trying to go inside and make something happen, getting our shot blocked, not trying to move the ball or move ourselves, and allowing the Pistons to have open shots. And they were moving the ball. That's what we did in the first half to get the lead that we had. They just copied what we did. They made it work for them, and that's why they were leading. We went away from why the Knicks were leading in the first half, and we had to rely on Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns saving us. What if they couldn't save us? This could have been a very different outcome. We won the game. I'm happy about that. You can rewatch the start of this stream. I lost my mind. I'm still losing my mind. One of the best postseason games I've seen in a while. Absolutely love it. But as everything cools down and we take a look at everything, you start to see some cracks. And those cracks, while maybe now are not issues, are going to be things that other teams target to break us. And we need to fix it if we don't want to be broken. And one of those things is going to have to be defense. It's going to have to be three-point defense. It's going to have to be the way we rebound. It's going to be the way we generate threes, put up threes, get open threes, move the ball. And the assist numbers need to be higher. You get the assist numbers higher, everybody wins in the process anyways. So that's something that we have to look at. Last thing today that we're going to talk about before we go to the chat. And then I'm going to get some comments from you about what you guys want to hear from my rundown segment to close out the show, because that's what we're going to be doing now moving forward for live streams. So I hope you guys enjoy that. But with every win, I look at them. I don't know why nobody mentions it. Nobody mentions them. I feel like I'm the only person that talks about it. And I feel like I get the hate for talking about it. because I'm the only person that's doing it. Maybe not the only one. There are a few. Shout out to you guys who are talking about it. The bench. The bench is awful. Just awful. And I get it. Defensively, yeah, fine. We're good. Great. Thank you. Thank you for the defense. Can I get any offense? Can I get some offense? Maybe a little bit of offense from the bench, because this bench scoring is a problem. Take a look, everybody. And I compared it to the Pistons just for comparison, so everybody can see what may be normal and standard and what we're not getting. Mikal Bridges, 44 minutes. He gave you 8 points, 1 assist, 6 rebounds. He was 3 of 12 from the field. So clearly did not do what he needed to do from an offensive standpoint, but defensively, he was very good. OG Anunoby, almost mirroring him. 39 minutes. He was 3 of 14 from the field. He gave you 2 rebounds and 8 points. Definitely not a great Anunoby game in terms of offense, but defensively, he was there as well too. Karl-Anthony Towns, 40 minutes, 10 of 22 from the field. So clearly not his most efficient game, but from 3, he was almost near perfect. 5 of 6 from the field, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 27 points on the night. Jalen Brunson, we went over what he did already. He was 13 of 26. He also played 39 minutes tonight. Josh Hart, 42 minutes, 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from three-point range, was really nice to see because Josh Hart really wasn't hitting those threes, but now he is. So good to see that. You got 10 rebounds from Hart, 5 assists from Hart, and he gave you 14 points as well too. Now, looking at the bench, Mitchell Robinson played 9 minutes, even though he is off of minutes restrictions fully. He played 9 minutes. Cam Payne, 7 minutes. Deuce McBride, 19 minutes. Landry Shamet, 1 minute. And that entire bench combined to give you 5 points. 5. So, out of 94 points that the Knicks scored to win this game, the bench contributed 5 points. Does that sound crazy to anyone? Out of that score, the bench gives us 5 points. Let's just call it the way we have to call it. Deuce McBride. "19 minutes. 1 of 5 from the field. 1 of 5. All of his shots, by the way, are from 3. 1 of 5 from 3. 1 rebound and 5 points. Horrible. Horrible. I like Deuce. I do. I don't like this Deuce. Where's the Deuce that could shoot off the dribble? Where's the Deuce that was instant offense off the bench? Where is he? Where did he go? And it's not like he's not getting some shots. He's getting some shots. Some of his shots are actually open, and he's missing them. And I don't really know what to do at this point because it's not a single game. Deuce has been bad, besides his defense, really, all series. And this is a problem. This is a very big problem because we're not getting scoring from anywhere else. Mitchell Robinson is not going to be able to give you anything, really. Cam Payne doesn't play enough. Landry Shamet played a minute. The starters are able to get it done right now against Detroit. How are we going to fare against the Celtics or whoever else we play in the second round? What happens? What happens in the further rounds? This bench is a very big problem. They're not contributing offensively in the way that we need. We need more from them than just 5 points. And conversely, when you look at the Pistons side, they had what? Let me see here. That's 19, 20, 22 points. They got 22 bench points. I mean, it's just spread out so much better, so much more even. And even though they didn't play a lot of players heavy minutes in terms of their bench, they played 2 bench players extremely heavy minutes. That's Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder, 27 minutes and 26 minutes apiece. They may not have played Holland a lot or Reed a lot. That's fine. They may have had a more 7-man, 8-man rotation. That's fine. But with the Knicks, it was really more of a 6-man rotation. It was so tight. How do you win like that? How do you do anything with a bench like that? You need to give minutes to the bench. They need more minutes. They need time to gel. They need time to operate. They need time to understand how to play together. This is going to be a really, really big problem for New York if they're not able to get it done now. You want to have this issue going into the rest of the postseason where the bench is not able to do anything? 5 points. 5 points. How do you look at that and not be concerned? I am concerned. I'm happy we won the game, but we did not win this game because of the bench. We won this game in spite of the bench, and that is not a good thing. That's a very, very bad thing. It's so bad that I skipped the shot chart for today. I normally do the shot chart. I skipped it just so everybody can see the difference here in terms of what the Knicks players play and what the Pistons players play. It's different in terms of minutes, the adjustments, how things operate, who plays what, and everything like that. But the main difference today is seeing the minutes distribution. That's a 6-man rotation in comparison to a 7 or 8-man rotation. And it doesn't sound like a lot, right? It doesn't sound like a very big difference until you look at the bench and the scoring that you get from them and understand it's not going to be enough. That can't be enough if you're looking to win. You need to do more. And hopefully the Knicks are going to be able to address the bench scoring moving forward and also be able to get some type of standard of at least 2 players off the bench that you trust to play 20-plus minutes. If that's Deuce and Mitchell Robinson, then fine, do that. But if you're going to do that, then you actually have to do it. Give Robinson that time. When we were getting taken advantage of inside the paint in that third quarter, why wouldn't we see Mitchell Robinson for more minutes? Why not? It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else. But if you're watching right now, let me know in the comments. Do you think Tom Thibodeau should be expanding and utilizing the bench more? Or maybe you're happy with the rotation, the adjustments, and really the Knicks playing 6 players today. And that 6th player being Deuce McBride. Everybody else under 10 minutes. Bench is a problem. And that's something the Knicks need to address. Hopefully they're able to do that. I appreciate every single one of you guys sticking around for the post-game show, tuning in with me, letting me get your energy and feeling that back as well too. And also allowing me to cover the game, the post-game, and be your source for all things Knicks related. I can't tell you guys how much that means to me. This is going to do it for the post-game show. So before we end it off like we normally do, I'm going to jump into the chat gang, see what you guys have to say, take some of your comments, maybe get some of your topics you want me to cover for the end of the show in terms of the roundabout that I normally do. And we'll go from there as we normally do as well. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for joining the chat. And that is going to do it for the post-game show. But if you want to stay in the chat, you want to ask me questions, maybe you have some comments about the game, maybe some things unrelated to the game. Maybe you want to give me some topics for my rundown that I'm going to do at the end of the stream. Now is the chance to do it right now for the rundown so you guys understand the topics I have on that right now that I'm going to talk about. Bring it up real quick. Knicks bench, I'm going to go into that a little bit more. Wingstop, who I thought they need to do a little bit more in terms of their offense, and 48 minutes, because that's still a problem. Probably my biggest problem with the team is consistency for 48 minutes. And tonight was no better reason to do it. Again, fouls, yeah. Third quarter had a lot of fouls. We can look at that. Bad officiating. You're not gonna hear me say anything different, but you're also gonna hear me say the Knicks gave the Pistons that quarter because they did not come to play in that quarter. 2 things can be true at once. That's true. Oron, member, says, Troy, are any giveaways coming soon for the members? You know what? That's actually a very good question, actually. The thing is with the members, I stopped doing a lot of the giveaways because when I did the giveaways, nobody really would be able to attain them. Somebody would win, and then I was never able to get their address or anything. So I stopped doing giveaways, and I started doing more exclusive content. But for the members, I'm going to start doing an exclusive poll to members and ask what type of content or things that you want. So if you guys want giveaways to come back, I'll bring them back. If you guys want exclusive videos or exclusive content, I'll drop that for you. If you guys want exclusive shorts or, maybe unrelated Knicks content, just exclusive live streams that are only exclusive to the members, you guys let me know and I'll make those perks available. Because I really don't know exactly what all members want right now. But if you guys let me know, I'll be happy to bring back everything that you guys used to like or want. But the members situation, the only reason I stopped the giveaways is just because it wasn't really helping anything. It was a lot of work to go through it without anybody actually claiming the gifts and whatnot. And it was easier just to release exclusive content. But you guys let me know. I have no problem doing that. And I'm actually happy to do all of these things if they're on the table. Carlos says, bring it back. Okay. All right. I see that there. My Tech Vibe Heart says, Hart guy fouled under the basket first before the Hardaway foul. Wait, what? I think he's saying somebody else fouled in the basket. Maybe. That probably happened. Ja says, Thibs, I'm not asking you for you to play the entire bench, but at least play players like Delon and Huck Porty. It is crazy, isn't it? It is kind of crazy, man. Like, we played 6 players, guys. We played 6 players. We could say that Mitchell Robinson played 9 minutes, but look at the... right? It's not only me, right? 7 minutes, 19 minutes, 9 minutes, 1 minute. That's your bench. One player plays over 15 minutes. That's Deuce McBride. You guys know how I am over here. If you don't play over 10 minutes, I don't consider it that you played. That's how I am. I've always been that way. None of these guys played, in my opinion. Not to the level that we needed it for a postseason game. That's 6 players. That's 6 players. And not even 6 players to a level where you would be okay with it. That's just craziness. Jay Bear says, where's Preston Achua? I don't know. On the bench? Situational? He's not playing. Same thing as Huck Porty. Situational. Landry Shamet might as well have been situational. 1 minute he played. Juan Riviera says, why isn't Huck playing? Because they trust who they have right now. And clearly, is Tom Thibodeau playing his bigs? He played Mitchell Robinson 9 minutes after announcing the other day that he's fully off of minutes restriction. Even though we all thought that before, he officially announces it like now it's official and then proceeds to play him the day after he announces that. 9 minutes. Fewer minutes than last game. Can't make this up. You cannot make this up, man. I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to the bench, but if that continues, we're going to have a very big problem, man. Carl Knight says, Ron Holland only played 6 minutes, and his only highlight was trying to be a tough guy on Cat. Yeah, that worked out for him, didn't it? Where he puffed his chest out all the way, did he not? And it did absolutely nothing. Guys, for the clip version of this video, do you want to see it tonight, or would you rather see it tomorrow? Guessing a lot of you probably want to see it tonight. If you guys do, I'll clip it up probably after the game. Make sure I get you guys something to watch for the evening content so I can have something fresh for you in the morning. Because there's something going to be happening tomorrow morning that I'm probably going to want to get onto. Some Pistons players probably going to complain, say something. So, the content's going to be there. Carl Knight says, tonight, my guy, I appreciate you. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that for you guys tonight. And then I'm going to try to see what other content I can get you guys or get for you guys out for tomorrow. I'll be looking at the news waves like I always do, trying to see what happens and everything like that. One more comment is going to come from Diabolical Max. It must sting Hardaway to lose his former team in the first round. He is losing right now. We still got one more game, so business is not done yet. So we got to make sure we close them out and finish this thing completely and close the book. But we're close, and absolutely, Tim Hardaway Jr., he has to feel some type of way after hitting all those threes and then not being able to hit one, get one up, not get a call, and yes, absolutely lose to his former team. It has to feel good. It has to feel special. Let's go ahead and get to the roundabout. Thankfully, I don't have that much to talk about with the roundabout today, so it shouldn't be a long episode. But I do want to talk about this. All right. let's talk about the consistency of the team. So we saw a Knicks team tonight pretty much play the first half minus 1 minute and 49 seconds to close out that second quarter. I'm going to eliminate the third quarter completely here. They didn't play in that third. Fouls, yes, but they didn't play in that third. Not the level that we would expect from a Knicks team that's in the postseason, and not to the level that we saw in the first half. They gave the Pistons that third quarter. We should not have won this game based on how we played in the third quarter. But as postseason teams do, we turned it up and we stole this game in the fourth. I love that. I love the win. But if we didn't win, it would have been a whole different thing, a whole different issue. A lot of different conversations would have came out of this. And one of those conversations would have absolutely been this team's consistency to play for 48 minutes. How can the Knicks look so good, so dominant, 29-19 first quarter, and then look so awful in the third quarter? 14 points in the third quarter and giving up 28 points. It almost doesn't seem real when you think about it, but then you think about this team over the course of this season. And I mention habits a lot. And this is why I mention habits, because habits are hard to change. They follow you. Just because you turn up the postseason mode doesn't mean your habits have another mode they go to. They follow you. So if that's something that you used to do during the regular season, it's likely something that's going to follow you in the postseason. Today's game, perfect example of that. First half, really, Knicks looked like a very, very good team, despite the way we closed it out. And then the second half, night and day, completely different team. We're fighting to get back into the game. Thankfully, we win it. But that game could have easily and probably should have gone to Detroit. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I'm happy the Knicks are up 3-1. Knicks over everybody. Knicks all day. Knicks, we're here. I'm all part of that. I understand that. But it's okay to acknowledge when the consistency is not there and when it needs to be better. And as a team, we need it to be better. Locked in for 48 minutes. When I say 48 minutes, I just mean for the whole game. I don't expect every possession to be super intense. I don't expect that to happen. But you can't allow a team to run off that many points and not adjust or do anything. And that quarter solely falls on the shoulders of Tom Thibodeau, the coaching staff, and also the Knicks players. They all get blamed for that. You cannot watch a team destroy your lead and build a lead without making the adjustments we need to make in that quarter to allow the Knicks to be able to go up in that quarter, win that quarter, and survive. We're making adjustments either late, we're not adjusting, and clearly the adjustments we make aren't really anything. Adjustments come from utilizing your bench. We played 6 players. Hard to really make adjustments when you don't have the players to make adjustments with. That's another thing that we have to understand when it comes to this team. The consistency is a problem, and the consistency will remain a problem going into Game 5 if we do not come together as a team. Consistency starts with fixing habits. That starts with communication, and communication on any level, even forced communication. So you start building new habits. That is what New York needs to start doing, because this level of consistency against a team like Boston, maybe even a team like Orlando or these other teams in the postseason that the Knicks might see, if we don't give them our full attention for 48 minutes, and we might have the game won. They could do what the Knicks just did to the Pistons. And how would we feel? The exact same way. The way you stop that is by building chemistry and building consistency. New York needs to start putting that together, and they need to start doing that now. And what a way to start doing it, by starting to do it in the postseason. coming together as a team to close out that fourth quarter with the defense, with the big shots from Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson. It takes a special team to be able to do that, a special team to come together like that. It also takes a little bit of luck as well, too, to make sure everything goes right. But now that this team knows that they can play together, they just know now they have to make it consistent play. Consistent play makes this team near unstoppable. And that's something that we have to consider and understand here. The other thing that we have to look at is Wingstop. Woo! Wingstop. I like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and the way they play their game. Defensively, they're monsters. And this postseason series, they've both been monsters. So we have to give them credit on that end. Their offense has been up and down, though. And we need more of Wingstop. More Mikal than OG, although OG still has some bad games here or there. But I will say that OG can lock in a little bit faster. And sometimes he won't have consistently bad games on offense. Mikal Bridges at times on offense consistently will not have the greatest game. And that's something that doesn't need to follow the Knicks into round 2 or really into the game 5. We need a little bit more aggression. Here's the reason why. Everybody saw it too. First quarter, first and second quarter. Josh Hart open from 3. He hits a couple of threes. What happens? Detroit is forced to send a defender his way. If Mikal Bridges is too aggressive to start and he keeps attacking, then the Pistons will be forced to throw a couple of players at him. And because of the way he can play make already, he's going to find somebody, and that's going to make the game easier for everyone. And for me, that's where Mikal needs to start getting better. That's where he needs to shine. I don't care if he wants to shoot a million threes. If he's open, take the shot. He might miss them, but if he's open, I don't mind him taking them. What I do mind is that what I do mind is him not getting to the line, not being aggressive, not using your body to take contact. I need to see more of that because it needs to be more than just Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns getting other players into foul trouble. Imagine the entire starting 5 is getting all of these players into foul trouble. It makes the game harder for the Pistons. It makes the game easier for New York. And if we're swinging the ball, everybody's eating. Everybody wants to cut. Everybody feels good to cut because they know they're going to get the ball. And that is team basketball. That is Knicks basketball. And that is how we win. And Wingstop. And Wingstop is a huge part of that. Their play on defense, their play on offense, OG Anunoby's aggression, demon mode, Mikal Bridges turning it on, lighting it up from 3, locking it on defense, his help defense, the way he can help on Cade and then come back and be able to recover very, very well. This is what I want to see from the Knicks and especially from Wingstop. But they need to be consistent themselves. And that's something that we have to acknowledge too, right? Wingstop, not very consistent. Consistent on defense, but not consistent on offense. And we're going to need more from them on that end if the Knicks want to make this we're going to need more from the Knicks and oh my goodness, can't talk right now. We're going to need more from OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on that end if the Knicks want to blow out the Pistons and not even make this a series. Those two are going to have to step up. They did so defensively tonight, but on offense, clearly they didn't. They can be better, and I anticipate game 5, they will be better. My last thing on this list that I want to talk about here is Jalen Brunson and his ankle. Now, before I do that, let me see if there's any updates. Because sometimes there is an update on Jalen that I'm not seeing. And I want to make sure I'm getting you guys the real-time updates here. So, 1 second. Are there any updates on Brunson? 1 second, guys. You know how I am with this. Nope. I'm still trying to see if he's good. 1 second. Nope. I don't see an update on Jalen Brunson here, so I'm going to say that Jalen Brunson's ankle is fine. It looks like he was addressing the media when I was just looking through my scroll over there with Karl-Anthony Towns talking about the physicality. So since they're talking about the physicality, I will also talk about the physicality. This will be the last topic of the roundup today. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream as you did. And watching live and watching. If you're not watching live, you're watching the stream afterwards, whatever the case may be. However you're watching, I just appreciate you and appreciate your support. You could be anywhere, but you choose to be here with me each and every post game. I don't take that for granted. I notice it, and I really do appreciate it. Talking about the physicality now. 90s much? Huh? 90s much? This was as much of a 90s game as I have ever seen. Physicality, hand checks, hip checks, shoves, hard screens, movement on screens not called, pushes to the ground, shoves to the ground, no calls, third quarter. Yeah, absolutely. They were letting things go, let me tell you. They let so many things go. There was one play that Jalen Brunson's going in for a layup. I forget who's behind him. I think it's Cade. Cade comes in from behind him. It says blocked, but as he's blocking him, he knocks him down and it hits him and bumps him off of his path to the basket. That is a blatant foul, and they did not call it. And then Brunson's on the floor. He gets back up, trying to run back. Obviously, at that point in time, Cade is beating him. So it's a 5-on-4 affair. It's an open shot for them, and they hit it. But that's what I'm talking about. The level of physicality that we saw. They were allowing so many things, and it wasn't the stars that got that type of credit. Normally, the stars are the ones that are given that much leeway to be physical, do this, do that in games. But it was everybody. If you were on that floor, you could be physical in the way you play defense. And if you never watched the NBA, you are very confused in terms of what defense is, what a foul is, and what everything means, because it was very different. It was very different watching what we saw there, watching some of those very hard, blatant fouls, some things not being called, some things being called, and you're wondering, how is it being called here underneath the basket for that foul, but it wasn't called here when Detroit did it and they got it and won because of it? Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't. And that's what a lot of Knicks fans were doing in that third. That's why I didn't blame anybody if you came in here in the chat and you said the refereeing, the officiating in that third was awful. It was. Not the reason why the Knicks lost that quarter, but it was extremely awful. And it's really been that way for this entire series. And the problem is it's like this because they're experimenting now, testing things out now, so that way later on, when they call it and they call it more physical and tight, they can reference these games for those situations. And they put themselves in those situations. They try to balance it, as we all saw, because in the fourth quarter, where, touch fouls were allowed in the third, they were not allowed in the fourth. So you got called for them. Jalen Duren got picked up 2 of them, which means that he probably should have picked up 2 fouls additionally in the third quarter when he was doing that anyways. But didn't really matter because the referees had to balance it out. They always tend to do that. Call it aggressively here, and then, you know what? I think I didn't call it that well. Let me call it a little bit more soft here. And that's exactly what happened. But the Knicks were able to meet the physicality when we needed to meet it, and at times exceeded it. And we have to thank our all-stars in Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. We don't win this game without their play, their commitment, their work ethic, their leadership, and everything they meant to this team while they were out there. Some people didn't believe, but I did. Some people in that building started to believe in the Pistons, but those two, that entire Knicks team, they didn't. They knew this game was in reach, and all we had to do was lock in and make sure we believed that we could win this game. That's what they did. They locked in. They believed. They put on a performance that all you can say about is just legendary from two all-stars that have been told they can't play together and then prove to everybody 32 for Jalen, 27 for Towns. Not only can they play together, they can come together when it matters the most, end the game, steal the game, and make sure the Knicks are the ones that are celebrating and are happy after what we saw. Game 4 goes to New York. We lead this series 3-1. And now we head home. Back to MSG. A real arena. The real Garden. The place that we want to hear the fans sound so loud. Everybody stays. They stay because the game is being played. They love to watch the game being played. They love the Knicks. They are committed to this team, and they could never think about abandoning them. They would never think about leaving them. They just think about supporting them at every single time that they can, because that's how we're built in New York. Game 5 at MSG. New York, we're ready to close it out. We're ready to steal this series, and we're ready to go to the second round. But we're not skipping steps. Detroit, business isn't done yet. Business finished? Is the business done? It's not done yet. One game remaining. One game left for you. One game for this team to prove everybody in the NBA that if you doubt us, if you think that the Knicks are not real, watch this series. We're going to close out the Pistons, make sure we make that Game 5 matter, and then let everybody know that it is our year to shine, our year to go far, and our year for everybody to start showing some respect to the Knicks. Laughing stock before, laughing stock no more. Legit contender. It's been a long time, a very long time. But New York, we are finally here. And the vibes could not be more immaculate. And I am here for all of it. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks leading this series 3-1 and winning this game 94-93? And what did you think about the Knicks All-Stars and Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns? Did you enjoy their performances? What was your favorite play from Brunson? Favorite play from Cat? What did you think about the Pistons and their response in the third quarter, and then the Knicks and their response in the fourth quarter? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love. The Knicks are up 3-1. I am excited. I am hyped. Let's go, Knicks. Let's go, New York. New York forever. And I will catch you guys on the other side.